my guy, Ray Ray. Welcome to the Ladit Akera podcast, man. What's happening, Ray Ray? Talk to me.
Nothing much, man. Enjoying this good weather. Feel like I've been waiting literally months for it. It feels like months. Like normally it kind of run up kind of quickly, but now all that snow and not being able to train that sucked, bro.
Yeah,
Really
that
sucked, especially in a pandemic when outside is really all you got.
I'm not even gonna lie. When I was
So,
stuck in the house, I was like, "Come on, man, you can't do nothing. It would literally
nah.
snow for like 2 days straight, clear for 2 days, and then you get it right back. It was
Yeah, but it was the fact that it wasn't leaving, man. The same snow was on the ground for 2 weeks. I was like, how does the same snow still there? Like that, man, it was just driving me. I was like, we live in it was like we live in a tundra now.
it was depressing. Honestly, it was very depressing.
It was, man. It
And
wasn't and
I
then like
love
that day you got no sun though. It was like just a big cloud. So I was
yeah,
like,
just a
man,
cloud just
like nothing
over.
gonna melt.
Nah,
Yeah, man. And
I
they
still
cleaned up
got
the
some.
car
I
every day.
still got some snow on the side. Like a
For real?
little. I still got some snow. It's like an area where the sun doesn't touch it, so
Oh, for real?
yeah. So it has
Oh,
like
that should be
you,
gone tomorrow. The ground started heating up yesterday. I felt like that. Like you felt the difference because 50 degrees on Monday did not feel like 50 degrees on Tuesday. Felt totally different. So
yeah.
that should be gone.
Plus, this time of year the sun is like on an angle. It's not like the
Yeah.
summertime where the sun is just straight up. So that's why when it's in that angle, where you have like say the bushes and the trees they blocking the way, and then the sun just doesn't hit that part of the snow. So that thing is
Yeah.
just taking its time. But
Man, it's I know it's like a track in the county that we was going to, that we was training at. Literally, snow would be gone from everywhere except for that track. Like one side would be clear, so it'd be like 130 meters clear, and then the rest of the track be still covered. They be like tree covers. I'm like, what trees? The sun is over there. But I mean, I guess it just was the weirdest thing. That track still might got snow on it. I ain't gonna lie, I haven't been there.
I bet anyway, it's Olympic year, man. Talk to me. It's Olympic year. Talk to me.
Man, like on Facebook, I've been to so many. It's been it's like a group chat on Facebook that just talked about track and field. So I love it, man. I get so many altercations with people about like the Olympic gear and like the theories and who they throw it. Like just yesterday, literally, it was like an hour long comment and back and forward between two guys. One of them got kind of disrespectful, so I had to dig in his. But it was just about we was talking about who would make the women's 4x1
Yeah.
for America. And so like they throwing out names and stuff like that. And they throwing out people that haven't ran well or don't got Olympic standards. Like two of the people didn't even have the Olympic standard from 2019 to be considered for it, right? So
Yeah.
and it might have been bar injuries, might be age, it might be a lot of things that just stopped them from it. Not to say they weren't talented before, just in that mix they weren't talented, right? So they
Yeah.
they threw out like a young gun as far as like the fourth leg. So we telling not only who we think will make the team, but the legs they will run. So I did like Allison Phillips on the second leg, just because over the last 2 years, even during the pandemic, she has been, working. And you seen some that she ran a little race last year, ran a good time. And then like this year, even though she's not doing speed work, she's coming out running a 7.2 and a 60, and then ran a 200 and like 22:50 something indoor. That's rolling
Yeah.
for a
Yeah.
female.
I
Yeah.
saw that in
So
Arkansas, right?
yeah, yeah. Farewell. Yep. So
Yeah.
so like my second pick was for the first leg, I threw out three names. One of them was like the young gun Tamari Davis, who's like 17, but she ran like 7.1 indoor, right? And it's her
Mhm.
and it was like her and Tanisha Terry. As far as like I think should be like pop off legs, because looking at the people that are out there, they really haven't made any dividends. Like I do feel like if you want to put somebody in a relay, they need to be able to do something through an individual. You know what I mean? Like
True
some
that.
kind of individual success or some kind of outdoor success. And because they're so young, I figure like they got more of the time. Like yes, you can go like old favorites that you hope would come up and produce something. But like, I'm thinking like if we doing like a real fast relay, or we doing like a relay that I know get some real competitors. I was like, I'm gonna go for these two. They some headhunters. Like they prove it by what the people class of characters that they've been running up against. Like Tamari Davis, 17, she turned pro, but she her last two races she won against professional talent. You know what I mean? Because she's not racing high schoolers anymore. So like, and then like her start is like what I would say I would look for as a person that would do my be my first leg. So then like the argument really like ensued when we went to third and fourth, because like I picked the fourth flag that a lot of people picked, but I switched her out to third if they put one other person on there, like the girl Leah Hobbs. I put her at my fourth leg just because she's a straightaway runner. She's probably not going to be too good in the two as she progresses. I think she would need to if she try and win some titles, because it's really hard to win titles for females when you can't do a 200. And so she would be my fourth, and then the other girl that everybody had at their fourth, I put her at third. And I put her at third because she has a 20.0 something, 22.0 something personal best in the 200. That to me, that was like, that's run a third leg. So we just got into like a discussion of moments, crazy proportions, and it just was like really ridiculous. But I get an argument on there like literally every other day, so it must be me because. But like, I mean, it's not like I ain't sitting here do my research. Maybe they do too. It's just that like I'm also thinking about like I was really agitated about 2019 because you had two girls that make the 200-meter finals and none of them were on a 4x1.
Right.
I was like, I don't know who does the relays, but just because you run the 100 doesn't mean you should be on a 4x1. You know what I mean? Everybody is not a relay person. Everybody can't, handle that. Everybody can't produce that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Keeping the speed with the baton. So you're looking at two girls make the 200-meter finals, and you can't put one of them on the third leg. I mean, after Allison Felix leg on the did she run the? No, she didn't even run a 4x1 in 2019. You had the American champion who finished 8th in the finals run a second leg. So she went up against three girls on that leg that actually she had just lost to in the finals. So you was like, what kind of production are you really getting out? So like three finalists make it. You had two in the 200 and one in the 100. Both of them should have been up. You should have used one as a pop off leg, and you should use the other one as a what's her name? Like they did put Desiree Bryant in there, but I can't remember if she didn't make the final. I don't think in the 200.
I don't think. That was,
I don't think so. And she did, and she didn't finish high. I know, like the girl Brittany Brown had ran faster. So like she definitely should have been on there. Like she got second. So how don't you put the person that medaled on a relay like that? That just doesn't make any sense. Now it could be other things. Like I think it's a lot of times it's politics, but it also could be whether or not she even made it to the training camp. You know how big they are on the training camp. So like I don't know. And then I think she a person. I don't even think she ran Division 1. I think she ran Division 2. So they don't highly tell people.
Nah, but don't be
when it comes to that.
But don't be sleeping on them though.
Nah, they sleeping on a lot of stuff, man.
Nah, they should.
In my opinion, I feel like they sleep on a lot of stuff. I think it's intangibles that I think, like, in my opinion, a couple of world records could have been broken on the relay side if you had put certain individuals on there or in just better spacing.
And especially, you might have the fastest person. If that person don't know how to receive that baton, that's a split second that you're losing. Because USA men are very famous for dropping the baton, but the women have been very, very good.
But solid,
when somebody hit that tape or before you get that tape, it's either going to be a little bit early or you're going to be late. And that exchange, if that exchange does not come on right, you can make it up.
I think I think American men always late. I mean, early on takeoff. I think maybe one time. Huh?
I said they always get out early because they be holding that hand back there, waiting, and by the time the Jamaican that already got it, boom, and then the Great Britain already got it, boom, and the Netherlands, which have been good for the past couple of years, and then the American just looking like, okay, well, now we got to play catch up, which they have the foot speed and the athletes to do that. However, Jamaica already got about 5 meters on you, and in Usain Bolt timeline, by the time he get it, ain't nobody catching him. Not
Yeah.
in towards the end of his career when his
I mean,
body was.
they had that one race with they got it at the same time in 2012, and Bolt showed who Bolt is, you know. So
Oh yeah,
like
got that baton put.
it's I mean, but Christian Coleman got ran down in 2017
He
by the
did. That
British
was
guy
bad.
from yeah, but both of them was collegiates. So like people be like, you can't sleep on what a collegiate year does for a kid that is running fast, or a guy or girl that's running fast. Like collegiate, like sometimes they do get there tired, but most of the time they be ready to go, man.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
like as I feel like a lot of people don't transition from just from that thought. A lot of people don't transition from collegiates to professionals well because they don't run enough races.
Nah, they don't. But I'm looking over here, and I don't think your girl Desiree made it to 2019 World Championship.
I thought she was on the 200. Am I
Oh, you
wrong?
was about the 200. Let's see, because
Yeah,
she's
she
not
didn't make it in the 100. I think she got like 6 in the
and the,
finals
and the finals. Nah, she didn't make it to the finals. 100
for the 200.
Doha.
No,
Oh,
for Doha, she didn't make it on the team for the 100. I don't think
yeah, that's what I'm saying. For the two, she got fifth.
in the finals, right?
Yeah, in the finals, she got fifth.
Yeah,
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 22-6.
yeah. But like her start has been her thing, but it like in 19 around like 19 it just didn't look. I think because she tried to put more energy into her transition and that top
Yeah.
bend, like it took away from her start because it is just not firing off like it has been, in my
Nah,
opinion. Because like
it
with her
hasn't.
pop off leg, I mean I don't feel like she did anything for that pop off leg, and they needed it.
Did they win or what did who
Nah,
won?
they got second. Jamaica almost. I think Jamaica ran like 41 flat, somewhere around there. I know they got close to or broke the Jamaican record.
Well, we can look that
So
up.
they close to go 40. They might go 40 at the Olympics. I mean, they're personally my favorite to win
41,
the 4x1 for the girls. Huh?
41, 44.
But yeah.
And then you had Great Britain was second, 41-85. And then USA with 42-10.
42. Yeah,
Yeah,
42
42-10. You
10.
had
Damn, for a championship. But
Des,
USA, that's yeah, man. It's just the choices that they made. They flew the one girl, which I'm glad that she was on it because she's from Maryland, you know. But they flew her in like 2 days before the finals. And I was like, it's no way. I was like, flying somebody and you know they probably not ready to run. You know what I mean? And they probably shut their season down, so they probably haven't
yeah.
been doing anything. But like she was clearly she was already named the alternate, but I think she decided not to go. And I don't know what conversation. I know Allison Felix said she couldn't run a relay or she didn't feel comfortable running a relay for the 4x1 because you know she had just came back from maternity leave.
Right.
And like I don't know, you could have looked at the 100-meter hurdlers. I thought Kenny Harrison would have ran a better leg on one of those. And then you had the 200-meter runners. You should have looked at them. Jamaica had so many injuries. They went to that 400-meter girl and had her, and she finished it off.
Exactly.
You know, but you also
Yeah.
had the world champion on the second leg. So I mean,
Decision
it,
making, man. Just whoever
yeah,
be getting those decision making is not it.
yeah. I
Anyway,
just
what's your top
now go ahead.
top three exciting event, both on women and men this year for the
For this
Olympics?
year. The men's 400 hurdles, the females 400 hurdles,
That's another
and
huge.
it's probably a toss up between the 110 hurdles
Mm-hmm.
or the men's triple jump.
Man, triple
That's
jump.
probably like the events that I'm most excited to see as far as like competitive and what it look like. But like
But
I feel like best chance for world records are the 2 long hurdle events.
yeah, but as you don't think the 400 meter world record can come down?
I'm looking at it, right? And from what I saw, um when you're looking at if you're looking at the two best guys that's looking at taking it right now,
Mm-hmm.
when you look at like I guess the favorites are going to be Steven Gardner and Michael Norman. When you can throw Fred Curley in there, you could probably throw the former world Olympic champion Wade Van Niekerk if he's, his body gets back to a place where it can produce, that type of speed. But I don't feel like anybody's body has held up well enough to produce what was produced in 2016. I think that's just a one-off, personally. You
Yeah,
know what I
because
mean? I think it's going to be. I think it stands to be a faster race overall, but as far as the world record, I think it's going to be like maybe 43.2 for the winner, maybe 43.3, but like close with like 43.4s and 43.5s in that mix. So I don't think a world record falls because nobody has been consistent enough.
Exactly.
For me, you know what I mean? And like Michael Norman, if he stays healthy, I think he has the best chance. I mean, his foot speed is crazy. And like people be sleeping on his foot speed, man. It pisses me off. I was like, you act like the kid didn't run the 1, 2, and 4 in high school, and at a level he qualified for the Olympic trials in the 1, 2, and the 4. People forget that. He chose to do the 4 and the 2. You know what I mean? He made the finals for the 2.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They be like, oh, he's a 4 guy. He's a 4 guy. He didn't even make the finals, and he was he was only running like I think 45.2, somewhere around the same thing as like Tyrese Cooper. But like at the same time, he made the finals for the 200. So like in my mind, you like at the most he's a 200 guy that moves up to the 4.
Yeah.
Or he's a 200 guy that moves down to the 1. That would be my thinking when you're looking at him, just because he ran the 4 so much because of his hamstring injuries.
Yeah, true that.
That's why they switched him there. But when they recruited him, he's supposed to be a triple threat. They said their thing was he was going to run a 1, 2, and a 4. They was definitely interested in a little bit of history.
Yeah, that would have been nasty. But back to what I was saying, like you saw how Van Niekerk pushed his body. And he never been the same after that world record.
Yeah, well, he tore his ACL. So I mean, he tore his ACL after the World Championships the next year. So yeah,
because he wanted to be playing rugby and stuff.
But I mean, it's hard to break a world record, then break a world record again.
No,
like it doesn't happen that often. When you look at like Bolt's world record, he put it in a place that maybe it should have been. You know what I mean? Or transition into a place that it was supposed to have been transitioned into. And then his frame, his body, and all that was different than everybody else that was running. So it just feels like when it came to like the 400-meter record, it took I think 17 years or so to break it. 17 or 18 years to break it.
It took a little minute.
Yeah. What was it happened in 99? It was 17 years to break it. And it's just like tradition before it was broken, like Americans were the only people that had ran 43 seconds. So in that 3-year span that other people outside of America started running 43 seconds, you kind of saw the event go to a different place.
Definitely. Yeah. Let me see when this guy hurt his knee.
I think it was 2017 in September.
Guess what? There's somebody that I know that always knows stats, track and field stats, is Ray. That boy always on point. Always on point.
Yeah, knowledge is power, man. I can't be the smartest man in the room if I'm not smart.
Yeah, I guess that you can say that. Wade Van Niekerk ACL in October 2017. So he wasn't off. He was a month off.
Okay.
Yeah, but still, though, for a little guy like him, that's some. And if you think about it, track athletes, if they don't do nothing else, it's really hard to tear ACL. Even jumpers don't have a lot of. They have after effects, but they don't have a lot of knee injuries afterwards.
Yeah, it's the cut and movement, though. I think he did it trying to cut. Like basketball players, it's common in basketball because of what they do. They do the cut or the land. It's just what you do with the plant of your foot. That for what I was saying, like all of ACLs that were torn last year was ridiculous in basketball.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, it was a few in football, but mostly basketball. Man, the cats were going down left and right. Excuse me.
I mean, jumping up and down, all that pressure. I remember when everybody was like saying Westbrook, how aggressive he is when he go to the rim. His knees is not gonna last. He's still doing it. And
yeah, but not at the level that he was doing it. I mean, he's more injured now than he was. That's why I think he's been on a trade block so much because not that he's not valuable, it's just that he hasn't been on the court.
Yeah, and that's the same problem everybody having with Zion. He's a little bit too big, even though he managed to get down. But for such a big guy landing and how aggressive he is with all
Yeah,
that.
I mean, he's meant to be big. You saw that dude neck. Like I don't know what to say. Like, he's going to be a football player looking guy. He just got to be like
But guess what?
Charles Motley was big too. You just got to maintain it. Like he got to go on the muscle side.
Sir Charles never took care of his body. But if Zion Williamson really take a LeBron route, I don't think he can last as long as LeBron. But he can play 10 plus years, because for a big guy, and you know, it's not
I
like
don't know. I feel like your knees gonna be gone. Like yo jumping out the gym now. I don't.
That's what I'm saying.
But it is his body, right? So you would think that his body would be able to handle the pressure that comes off because it's his body. So I don't know. Maybe I don't feel like he get beat up a lot. He do got outside shot. So
yeah, it's gonna have to be right now. Yes, he can be the flashy, you know, get the posters, you know, get everybody excited, sell tickets. But later down in his future, he's gonna have to master that the same thing Anthony Davis have, you know, that step back and at least 15, 20 from the rim. You know,
but Anthony Davis been hurt.
Yeah, but you know, last year that's who was killing people with.
Yeah, he did. When he was killing them with size too, but he was also killing them because they had two other 7-footers on the team. Without that, he looks totally different without that kind of support. I don't see, nobody can say that. You know, like without JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard, he looks totally different, man.
Yeah, I mean, you see them struggle this year when all of them in the court, they don't have the size no more. It's literally him.
I mean, I feel like that's what got them the championship in the end. The fact that you can't compete, it's hard to compete with three. When they had 3 7-footers out there on the court at one time, it was like the interior was gone. All you had to do was the outside shot.
Protecting the rim, and then from the outside, they can just put a hand in your face, even though guys are ridiculous this time.
This
time with that 3 boy. But
then you had stuff like Utah was extremely tired before they got to the Lakers. You know, the Lakers, you know, was killing everybody. I think Utah would have been an Achilles heel for them if one is what's his name? Porzingis. He's on Utah, right? Yeah, no, he's on the Mavs.
No, you talk about Unicorn. Yeah. Unicorn played for the Mavs. The Joker.
Yeah. Joker.
Joker played for Jazz.
Jokic. Yeah, but he got hurt.
Yeah, Jokic got hurt.
Yeah, if he didn't get hurt, then I think it would have been at least 6 games. At least 6 games. I think it was 5.
But I would say that if roles were reversed, they took him to game 6. If roles were reversed, I think they would have gave the Lakers a run for their money the same as they did with the Clippers. I would think they would have taken the game 7.
Yeah, I think this year it's going to be really tough in the playoffs for the Lakers if they don't get another big man or get Anthony Davis back healthy. You know what I mean?
They looking for Andrew Drummond. That's who they fishing for right now.
Yeah, I doubt they're going to get him.
We'll see. But let's switch back to
he got traded already, didn't he?
I'm on the web, but I'm gonna look it up right now to find it.
I know he was on Cleveland, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he was.
Was he on Cleveland?
Yeah.
But I don't think he's on Cleveland no more. I don't know. I do not watch I watch what's I watch for the playoffs. I do not watch regular season basketball the way maybe I should.
Nah, too long for me. Too long for me right now. But let's switch back to track and field. I was saying, I saw you guys just came back from nationals. How was that?
That was excellent, man. It was competitive. It was a situation where the kids elevated themselves, and we came back with some hardware. And a lot of people, I think, made a name for themselves if they didn't before. You know, at least in the Maryland ranks, a couple people in the national ranks. We ended up winning the shuttle hurdle. Which is, my personal favorite because that's what I do. You know, it wasn't perfect, but they inked it out, so you can't be mad at it. Because at the end of the day, national champions are not only won by talent, but the guys that showed up, and they definitely showed up. we got to experience something special. They almost broke the 4x4 record. Not us, I wish, but the 4x4 high school record was almost broke. So it was fun watching that. I think kids got a lot of knowledge from that, and there was a young group of guys.
Yeah.
We really only had 3 seniors there. The rest of the group, well, 5 seniors there, including the females, but who also did very well, might add. But we got a lot, at least 8 guys coming back,
Mm.
next year. So they're building up all this experience and getting faster. One of the sophomore guys is ranked top 2 in the 200 out of everybody in the country. For
Oh yeah.
sophomores.
What do you
Yeah,
run it?
he ran 22-1
That's
in the
dope. So
200.
okay. So by the summertime or outdoor, you should guys definitely get him at least a 21-8, 21-7.
Man, I'm thinking at least 21-4 for
Oh,
that
for,
regular
yeah.
activity. He has dead weight room yet because we didn't really have
Oh,
access to it yet. You know what I mean? So
oh
he's
yeah,
going
yeah.
off of just speed and training.
Yeah. Once you hit that
And
weight room,
he
that's like
still had
a
yeah, he
change.
still has some of the things like his arms. He still doesn't check them up high enough when he's coming home. So he's got a lot balled
That's
up in him that's awaiting to come out, man. So
that's a
with God willing.
that's a lot of room for improvement. It's a lot of improvement. So by the time he leave, yeah, he should at least be low 21s or even touching 20 points.
That's the idea, man. Real talk. He really realistically does have that talent pool. It's just certain things you don't want. You want him to always be readily available. But
Yeah.
like I know just with my experience, especially when you come to athletes that's in my demographic in Baltimore, certain things that take them out. Whether it be grades, most of the time it's grades, and then sometimes it's attitude. He has a really good attitude, and you want the grades to maintain. And the parent support doesn't always be there. So I think that I, I grow wary of situations where the parent support doesn't understand what is being built. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? It's just like if you build in a building and you put the brick in the
Foundation.
wrong area, and yeah, and it falls. You don't stop building the building. You figure out what went wrong and you build it back up. You know what I
Right.
mean? And like a lot of times, I feel like they stop building the building. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like or it could be like changing the foundation to not making it sturdy or giving it the support system that it needs, so that there's no way for it to hold up. You know, so like when it's like parents don't start paying attention for me until a kid becomes a senior.
Mm. And
That's when they mostly pay attention. A lot of times that's when I meet them. And if the kid is not getting anything out of it, the first thing they'll say is, well, they didn't do anything for my child. And
exactly.
I told one parent, I remember, I was like, well, I don't even know your name. So what did you do for your child?
Mm.
She caught me on the wrong day. For real, she caught me on the wrong day. I had time that day,
You
man.
about
It
to
was like,
go
what
out.
did you do for your child? I was like, I don't even know your name.
Damn.
You know what I mean? Like I'm helping your kid get transportation here. I'm making sure they have the materials that they need. You know what I mean? All you can say to me is thank you. That's the only thing you can say to me. Oh, she was
Exactly.
yeah, she was heated. She was throwing out a lot of herb in the necklace, but I told her again, at the end of the day, thank you.
Thank you.
That's all you
Exactly.
can really say.
Now,
Yep.
do you think for high school seniors, once they sign and everything, do you think is beneficial or is it hurtful for them running summer track to get to the next round of college?
I think it's nostalgic. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I don't think people and then like I said, the demographic that I had doesn't really have a system or support system in place to make sure they're even fit going into college. You know what I mean? So like for the people that I have, yeah, you got to do something. You cannot quote unquote rest. One for me, like if you haven't been running since you were 10 years old or so, you shouldn't be thinking about rest going into college. If you started running your 10th grade year or your ninth grade year, then like law averages, you're probably still not where you're supposed to be. I.e., maybe your talent, maybe your experience level. So yeah, you kind of need to run. Now, who you're training under, I think matters. Because if you're training on the same system that have gotten you to where you need to be, then you not only need that system, you need that mentorship going into college. You know what I mean? Because they help you
Yeah,
there. But if you're just if you're switching to something different, then maybe you don't run individuals. You may just run the relay, and you
relate.
do everything just to maintain your shape. But I've seen coaches, I've seen certain situations where athletes switch what they've been doing, and they come out worse for wear. So like it's a lot of things that go into it. But no, I don't think anybody should sit there and take a rest before
And
they go
take
to
it
college, because
for the
they're not going to eat right. Their training is not going to be hmm, aesthetically pleasing, or the growth is going to be stunted.
I got you right here. That makes a lot of sense. And sometimes it's hard to break it down to athletes, because sometimes when people be like, well, I'm already signed. Why do I need to run for? I'm gonna just, take the summer off. Or, some kids that actually will take the time to understand and know that, hey, I got you this point to this point. Yes, you signed, but I'm trying to get you further than this. I'm trying to get you once you go to college. Once summer track is over and you get a like 2-3 weeks break, you literally going into something totally different. So let's get you ready for right now. And then some kids, go to the next level and they produce, and some others just, stay static. The coaching might not be good for them. They might not have touched the weight room as hard as you touch in college, because you're in there 4-5 times a week. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
that just sometimes it hurt the kid's body, and sometimes it don't. Sometimes it works for the better.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of kids haven't been given recovery tools.
Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest thing that hurts them in the weight room. They don't use the recovery the way they're supposed to use it. You know what I mean? I think when it comes to the weight room, it's a system that everybody actually uses to build up your body. So if it's breaking down your body, then you kind of got to look what you're doing outside of the weight room to
Mm-hmm.
try to kind of figure it out. And maybe it can be even the way you're lifting in the weight room. But most of the time, I feel like somebody should be there to secure you and make sure that you're good. So I think a lot of kids need to, or like athletes moving into college, need to think about what are you doing for your recovery tools, because your body is breaking down, but it's all, excuse me, it's also building up. So you kind of got to figure out how to maintain that. And I think a lot of cats do not figure out how to maintain it. I think they become lethargic, lazy in their approach, and it shows up.
Yeah, big facts. That's true. So let me ask you this: how's it been? How's it been working with Bach for the past? I don't know how long you been working with Bach for. A minute now, almost 10 years plus, right?
Yes, let's see, you were 15. So what do you like 11 years? Because you about
11 years.
what, 26?
How's that transition been?
It's been good. It's been growing. You know what I mean? And that's the part that I like the most. It's been the growth.
Yeah.
Um, I I see as in the last 4 years, I've realized that every system is not designed for you to actually grow as an individual. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And it's not like I had expectations of that from other people, but when you notice that it's not happening, you like, well, dang, like what kind of what how can I remain in this situation where I'm not growing? And then like the conversations can't really ensue to help you grow. So I think that's where I'm at now. But when it comes to bot, like I just always enjoy the experience, because the conversations that we have, it always puts you in a mindset that you're getting something out of it. You know what I mean? And then it's like it's fun, and it's personal too, but at the same time, um you kind of get the honesty that you deserve as an individual when you're in a workspace, to make sure that everything that comes out of that workspace is something that you can be proud of. And I think
Thanks.
it's too many dishonest systems that put the veneer over your eyes, and then you ended up getting smacked down, especially in this, when you're dealing with kids futures, and then you're dealing with adults expectations. You know what I mean? I wish it would be a little bit different, and you dealt with the kids' expectation of you, because it would be easier because they're with you day and day. You can, you can hit it every time. But like, it just taught me to deal with people in a different light, and a more honest and a more true light, but definitely in a different light. So like, I love it and everything we have built.
When you see yourself owning your own team or coaching your own team?
Um, it's for me, it's just always that side is, do I want that? You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Um, like I said, I'm not keen on the parent support throughout the city.
Yeah.
I think it's ridiculous. And honestly, it could be as a whole, because I just say in spaces, especially for people that are not even like in our ethnicity, to do more than the people that are in it. So you see a small group of Black people in this space helping, a group of kids, and we have 30 parents and only 4 are pitching in, and we have 75 kids. Then what kind of community do we have?
Mm-hmm.
And it's too much like that just drives me crazy. It's mind-boggling. So when you have 12 coaches with these 75 kids and these 4 parents, it's not enough.
True that.
And for parents to still, walk their little butts down the steps, drop their kids off, and then leave, and then come back with a whole bunch of questions about their kids when they haven't did the due diligence first to understand what's going on. That's
Yeah.
what I'm not very interested in. you know like I'm interested in the growth, I'm interested in the travel, I'm interested in the experience, interested in the education, I'm interested into the lifetime experience.
Yeah.
But I want to do that with a family.
True.
You know what I mean? Like, my idea is not just to grow the individual, not just to grow the kid, but to grow the family. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times that kid is going to enter spaces that the parent has never entered into,
Very
9
true.
times out of 10. you know so why aren't you on this ride with your child?
Yeah. Totally understand.
That just drives me crazy. you know and I sometimes I get agitated when a parent asks you a lot of questions, but I do appreciate it, because nobody wants to be asked a lot of questions. Nobody want to feel like they're getting the third degree. Nobody want to feel like they're being interrogated. But at the same time, you do appreciate it, because that parent cares where their child is and who they're with. You know what I mean? Or who influencing them. So like, I wish I could get more of that. Then I would be used to it.
Yeah.
And so if few and far between, is a little bit off-putting. And sometimes it comes in a space where maybe you've been working with that kid for like months up until that point, and then they starting to ask questions. I'm like, well,
Where were you this
damn,
whole time?
yeah, like, nice to meet you after this time period.
After
Like,
a
what kind
couple
of
of
stuff is
months,
this,
yeah,
man?
okay. But
Yeah. So the inconsistencies of it all drives me crazy.
so yeah. Okay. So to me, I mean, handling other people's kids, coaching other people's kids, spending a lot of time with them every day, it's hard because they're not yours, but you still have to show them that, hey, I'm here to help, and you show that respect. However, you demand that respect from the kid because you're doing something that's gonna take them further in the future. They might not be professional, they might not be, but you're teaching them something valuable that they can always look back at and say, hey, I have gained discipline, I have gained wisdom, and I have gained a lot of knowledge from this
Hmm.
sport and this person that have been with me, day to day. They always come out here, no matter what the weather is. Some days they also, come bring me Gatorade, water, hydrate. All of that sounds amazing. And, there's a lot of other people that do it. So shout out to everybody that do this for other people's kids. But personally, like, let's say in the past 3 years, how have you been dealing with that mentally, physically, and spiritually? Because I know it can get draining sometimes. So
Yeah.
how do you cope with that?
I would say, for me, the mental part has been a growing part. It's allowed me to find places in my mental that I haven't even known that, or haven't even explored. So like, it's been difficult at times. I'm not even
Yeah.
gonna lie. Um, the biggest like biggest strain for me is getting to the point where I grasp and understand that other people's thoughts should not write my narrative.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like the biggest thing that had to confront, because like it was so many spaces where I went in there with people, i.e. colleagues or just adults, where I didn't want to be there, or I felt like I needed to defend myself. And it just drives me crazy, because it's like some spaces I'm in, and um maybe it's rightly so, but coaches are making decisions for, kids, and I'm and or dictating how a kid should, or a kid's family should approach something. So maybe they're transitioning, they're moving from one place to another, maybe a team, a school, or whatever. And as a coach, I don't feel like I have the right to tell a parent that they can't, or how they should move away from me personally. If you decide that I'm not the coach for your kid, then I can't sit here and say, excuse me, I can't sit here and say, well, this is how you should do it, or you
Yeah.
shouldn't do it. Or I can't sit here and tell the next coach, oh man, you're wrong for that. That was my athlete. I don't feel like any athlete is my athlete. Not real, really. I feel like we build up a kinship and relationships where they should transcend track for a lot of spaces. And it has, especially for the most of the athletes that have actually transferred or moved on from me. Like I'm still really good friends with like the parents and stuff like that. You know what I mean? For the most part, long as they did it in a way that didn't make me feel like I was shitty on approach.
Mm-hmm.
But when somebody feels like they can tell a parent what to do with their kid, I just feel like that's just dead wrong and in the wrong headspace for a coach to be. No, like I said, yes, we do coach these kids, but none of these kids are actually ours. And I personally don't want them to be mine. No offense. Not that I don't love them, or care about them. But I'm excited when they're able to go back to their parents every time. So I mean, yeah, it just is, man. And
Oh, love that, man.
though
That's
getting into that part, like I know some people used to say the narrative was, especially for like the last 3 years, was that I steal kids, right?
mm-hmm.
And like I steal kids, man, it pissed me off. I was like, it came to head like at a championship. Like I was pissed off because one of the kids that I had trained since she was like 11, this decided that she didn't want to be in her high school anymore, you know, and the way going about it wasn't right. But I did, and like they were my colleagues, the coaches at the school. So I
Yeah.
did talk to one of them, but the space that was occupied with that, it was like a space of a lot of different coaches, and all of those coaches had an opinion.
Yeah.
Some of those coaches didn't even have to do with this kid. They never trained this kid, but they still had an opinion,
Had a
right?
pen.
Yeah, and so like one of my, she my good friend, she came up to me and she was hurt, and she's like, I can't believe you did this, blah 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 blah. You went behind my back. What's her name? I'm like, well, wait, what do you mean? She's like, and then she brought up the kid. Now I was like, wait, hold up. That's not even remotely how it actually went. I pulled up text messages and stuff like that.
Peace.
All of my text messages literally said, after she had moved from her former school to that school, was that these people are good people. They know what they're doing. Give them a chance. You can do it. I'm always in your corner. You always got me. You don't got to be here for me to have you. All of those were the things that I was saying out of my and the messages to her. At one time, dude, it says, we're going to figure out a way to get you in.
Yeah.
Not one thing. I was like, at the end of the day, that's what she and her family decided, and that's what she really wanted. You know what I mean? So all
She,
you can be is, and she's talented, and there's always issue with talented people. If they're not talented, they do not care, right? But if they're talented, they got everything to say. Everybody has an input on how a talented person should be, instead of the people that's immediately readily available for them.
so the
You
kid
know,
just so that representation of that what that kid represent, that's all that matter. Like if you representing and showing slow time, we really like, okay, yeah, we care about you, but if you want to leave, it's up to you. But if you're really talented and
sometimes they don't even care. Like
if you
real
have
talk, they don't be caring,
potential,
man.
you're right. Hey, I try to give them benefit of the doubt, but I guess
Hell
not.
no, man.
And then sometimes,
They celebrity whores, man. They like the fame. That's how they be, man. They love that fame. They love being attached to something special. You know what I mean? Instead of the groundwork, like just from where I come from as an athlete, I had to fight for everything that I got. So
yeah,
just as a coach, it's the same thing. I never feel like I'm the best in the room. Always feels like there's stuff that I have to prove to
improving.
myself. Yeah. So like it is the thing for me where I always have to make sure that I hold myself accountable for the things that I do,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, I would hate to put a kid in a position where they don't grow. You know what I mean? So I'm always giving myself checks and balances. So nobody don't
Mhm.
necessarily have to do that to me. But man, I was pissed off, man. I was in red form. After I got done with talking, I said, man, fuck. I said, man, forget all of y'all, man. All y'all can kiss my blah, 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 man. I was like, understand who I am? I was like, I done had a hurdler final in the final of every state championship for the last 8 years.
Mm.
Sometimes it's 3 in there, maybe 2 girls and 1 boy, 2 boys and 1 girl. You know what I mean? So, and then they have medal over the last 4 years.
Facts.
You know what I mean? So I'm just like, you can kiss my, oh, and one thing I do, I get my scholarships. I work very hard to get them scholarships.
Oh,
Right?
I know you.
So like,
I see them college costs stacks that you be
yeah,
having
man.
and making the
Yo,
phone
I had
calls.
those conversations for a reason. Maybe I don't have a kid right now for you, but give me time.
Yeah.
I'll have a kid for you. And to sit here and say like it's just relocated to my kids, no, it's just not the kids that suit up with me. It's kids that are in my demographic that need it. You know what I mean? I have kids right now during this pandemic. I just sent 3 kids information during this pandemic of places they could possibly go because they're sayings without opportunities and sayings without not necessarily without stats, but without experience. You know,
Yeah.
it could be, you know, that's 2 different things. You know, and coaches most of the time they go off the experience because the stats can be flukes, you know.
Yeah.
So it was just in that system. And then it's some people still that I'm like weary of because I don't understand what the narrative is if it's not getting kids scholarships and getting them opportunities. That should be the most celebrated thing. No, but you don't. Nobody ever celebrates that.
Yeah.
They congratulate in the space. They'll congratulate a parent, right?
Yeah.
Or they'll congratulate a coach that had this athlete from, you know, from the longest point to, you know, their finishing part where they get the scholarship. But they never sit there and say like, hey, like 1 year, I had a transfer girl, who nobody wanted, and she ran an event that wasn't good for her. Do training, find out that she wasn't even supposed to be in that event. She's a total different athlete. She switches to a new event, and all of a sudden she has 5 scholarships
Mm.
after getting into
Look at it.
21 schools, 24 schools.
Damn.
You know what I mean? And like she was ultra competitive, loved her energy, talk to her still to this day. She one of my favorite people. And we literally, what my conversation with these kids is, after they go to college, they remember who didn't help them. They
Mhm.
remember who had a lot to say, but not a lot to do. And then they
Exactly.
remember the growth that we have experienced together. And those can take up the conversation. Sometimes I like to change the conversation. Hey, what's going on now? How does it look
Yeah.
now? What can we do now? Any advice that you need for now? You know what I mean? But a lot of times it gets into those conversations. And like I understand it because at the end of the day, they felt what I felt in that moment. You
Yeah.
know what I
True.
mean? Everything adult says, kids hear.
Oh yeah. And it
You know what I
stays.
mean? So just from that one conversation that I had with my colleague, my friend, who's coaching at the other school, the kid, she heard.
Hmm.
She heard most of the stuff that the individuals were saying. So her approach towards these individuals are as such. Like, I don't mess with you,
Mm.
and I'm not going to be phony about it. And then the biggest thing that I have had, and the biggest headache that I have had, especially when you go into a mixed situation, when you bring the kids together, like in a club situation or anything like that, is telling the kids, hey, respect these people, man. They are good people. But they said this and that. I heard them say that. And I'm like, well, I mean, maybe it's out of context, or maybe they didn't mean it like that. or I know what they said about you, and I gotta sit there and say, nah, man, it's like they my colleagues, they my family.
Yeah, it wasn't
Like
that.
it's
Wasn't
all
that?
good. You know what I
But
mean? And the kid, I mean, it just never feels like the kid believes me because I haven't came across a situation where the kid has fully trusted these individuals. So I was like, you gotta mind the person that you
it's
are.
hard with the kid here, and then you just trying to change the narrative just a little bit so they can give that little trust. Cause
Oh, you know that, don't you? You know that. Yeah, you know that. Yeah, we have had those conversations, man.
oh man, we sure did. But let me ask you this, right? Because I know you probably like the biggest advocate in our demographic with this. Double athletes. You love double athletes. What's a conversation like to a parent?
You talking about dual sports, like doing the more than one sports,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, double athlete. Like say a football player that you want to have to come and run tracks
Man,
with
that
him.
those I feel like I still have not cracked the code on that, man.
Yeah,
Because getting, especially like I said, the demographic that I deal with, like the parents don't know enough,
yeah,
right? And then they don't. It's like literally a kid can be with one coach, like in football, for up until they're like 14 years old, started when it was 14 years old, and a parent doesn't know anything. Like I feel like if a kid has been with a coach for like 8 years, 10 years, a parent should have learned, observed enough to be able to maintain their kid without that coach.
yeah.
Because I feel like at the end of the day, like you don't take us necessarily with you throughout your life, you take your family. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, they're your biggest advocates, and they're your biggest support, and they're also your backboard. You know what I mean? Or sometimes your bodyguard. So like
True.
only have I realized in one parent who has learned enough through her experiences with coaches that she can make sure her kids are good. You know what I mean? And it's not a spiteful thing, as far as like her approach. But at the end of the day, um, and especially she's not a loud parent. She's not a parent that uh and puts herself into situations that she really doesn't belong in. She doesn't really separate herself, separate her kid from like their coach and stuff like that. She makes
Yeah,
sure that her kid is protected. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And the scenario that she said she happened to her again was the coaches weren't doing what they needed to do to make sure her kid was good, and that kid could potentially get hurt, and nobody wasn't hearing that. So it puts her in the mindset. So I got to make sure my kid is good, because
okay.
clearly that's not the goal here. And I only have seen that from one parent. I feel like every parent should be grown with their kid. As a kid is becoming a better athlete, you're becoming a better parent to an athlete.
Exactly. Understanding the fundamental, understanding the sport. You
Mm-hmm.
don't have to be an expert in it, but you have to understand like what does your son, what should the daughter need to go to the next level? Like what is the coaching doing? Like I said, you don't need to understand every single details, but have a little bit of an understanding. So, like you said, you can function without that coach, and then you can take your
Yeah.
son, daughter to the next level. But
Yeah.
one thing that go ahead.
No, and I was like, just to get back to that, that's been the biggest thing when it came to dual sports, is that they don't really understand how much a kid needs those type of different things. You know what I mean? Like we say that track is an all year sport. People say football is all year. So track is literally all year sport. At least it takes up 10 months of the year at least. You know, maybe 8 is real, but literally it could take up 10 months, especially if you have a cross country kid. So like those scenarios can make it hard for a parent to get their kids into different spaces and different sports. But I'm an advocate of trying different things, but I'm also an advocate of knowing where the money is, you know. So like in scenarios where you come to find out like you've tried a new sport and you're actually better at that sport than the sport that you love, you gotta go where the money is. Because God willing, that sport will be there for you throughout your life. You can appreciate it throughout your life, but at the
Yeah,
same time, you got to make sure that I have as least debt as possible. Because at
100,
the end of the day, high school sports are a tool to make sure college is free.
100%. 100% agree with you. Yeah, I just want to give you, you, Coach Bach, and, Coach Johnson and other people like Coach Vaughn and them, for doing just such a phenomenal job. And, without asking a single penny, dealing with hundreds of kids every year. And like one of the most important things that you guys advocate, is going to that next level. And then I remember, your mentor, Coach Bach, always speak of, you don't have to get a track scholarship. You don't have to get a football scholarship. If I can get you to go to that next level, get that next education for free, I'd rather you get books education than you get athletic education. Because once you get to that athletic and you're at the next level, it's very, very competitive. Because in a year, you can lose your scholarship. Or year two, you can lose your scholarship versus where if they take you there with grades, you can maintain that. So that's such an amazing thing that you guys doing in this demographic and making sure and ensuring that our kids go there, because we lack opportunity in the city. Everything is not given. We don't have big top-notch schools that come and do college workshop. You feel me? We don't have colleges and universities that go to go to Gilman or go to Carvet Hall or go to Mount St. Joe. Those colleges right there, that's like top 20, top 25. They come in there with their resource, make sure they pick up all the kids that they can, versus where we from, we don't, they don't come to us. It's like we at outreach, we have to go and reach them. Or sometimes, excuse me, our kids have to run, ridiculous time for them even to notice them. And, so it's not fair, but you guys do it day and night. Like I have witnessed you every single day on the phone calls with college coaches, sending emails. I haven't seen you try to make highlight tapes for college athlete for a football player. That's not even your sport. You feel me? So,
Yeah.
And the sacrifice that you give, I definitely applaud that. I definitely appreciate that. And, we're just going to continue, once I get into that field, I don't know when, but I'm going to just keep being on the outside. I'm going to let y'all handle that because it's a little bit of a headache.
I mean, it's spaces for you, my man, but finish up all your professional stuff because, all of that, it has a timeline on it. So do everything you want to do, get a chance to, and go hard at it, then once you're done with it, you can say, I did that. And then like, it ain't going nowhere. So, hey, do it as long as you can. That's all I say.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can do it in off spaces. You don't have to be fully committed, but maybe with your personality, you might want to be, or especially from the coaches that you have had in your life, you might want to be. So, but sometimes volunteering is just good enough for now, and it's just to get that experience and that feet wet. And there's also the time, like I volunteered before I actually, dove into it, and like the experience that I learned there played dividends, especially when you're dealing with personalities. But like I said, the quietest man in the room always gets the most knowledge, in my opinion. So like, just be a fly on the wall, absorb and grow.
Make definitely no cap. Ray, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for doing this. You've been dropping a lot of gems and a lot of things. I hope a lot of freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and even seniors take a look at this and recognize, show this to their parents. Like there's actually people that are trying to get their kids into the next level, going to school for free, or even, get you on books. Like some people don't even understand how hard books is. Like books cost more than
books be like $700 a semester. You be like a semester? Like what?
More than you're living. Like
man.
More than you can.
And then and then you try to Xerox that thing or that man. You either gonna live in the library or you're gonna have like big stacks of paper. You like when I Xerox it don't look like a book. It don't because
that's not all
the paper that you're using, bro. It'd be huge. I was like, bro, that's terrible, man. Or you better figure out you can rent books online now. So you
better go Amazon ebook or something. But still, you guys are doing a phenomenal job. It's incredible. It's just such inspiration. And like Muhammad Ali said, I am the greatest. And the job that you guys for you guys at that greatness level. So definitely trying to get this, as much as people and send this information out, to parents. And with this pandemic, a lot of people turn their head in sports because, not a lot of people feel safe. But once everything is come back, everything to normal, you guys have more hands-on with athletes coming back to school and, competing. Like I always say, don't compete for that national title, compete for that scholarship, man, because that everybody can break the record, but nobody can take your scholarship away from you once you sign them papers.
Yeah, I mean, you can lose it though.
Hey, man, that's just the mentality you gotta have.
Yeah.
But definitely, man, appreciate you, right away. Appreciate you doing this thing for me, man.
Most definitely, man. It's always an enjoyable experience when I get to hang out with my man Jordan.
Definitely, man. Love you, my guy. Talk to you later, man.
Love you too. Always.